Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to look at how to install Jboss for Windows operating system. So let's get started. Before we begin, myself, I'm Naresh Chaurasia, and let's get started with Jboss installation for Windows. So the prerequisite for installing Jboss is you should have Core Java 8 installed, and then of course you should have a machine with Windows operating system and also a Jboss installer. Now I'm assuming you have Core Java 8 already installed and have a Windows machine. So I will help you with Jboss installer. So to download the installer, let me take you to my website here. If you will open a browser and you type connect2tech.in, this particular page will load. In this, you can go to resources. You can go to Jboss here and click on Jboss resources. Now you can do this via Google as well. I mean, you can open a browser and in Google you can search for Jboss installer, but I felt this is easy and more convenient to share the link from where you can download the Jboss installer. So I'll click on this Jboss resource here. It will load a page where I will share the link from where you can download the installer. So there are two options. In the first option, if you will click, it will take you to this particular link here. You can download the installer by clicking on this download button, but make sure that you have to register to Red Hat website before you can download this installer. So in my case, I have already registered and I have already logged in. As you can see here at the top, my name Naresh Chaurasia is showing up here. So make sure you register and then only you can download. So after that, you can click on the download button here and this will bring up a window which will allow you to download the installer. So let's wait. Yeah, so this is your installer in the jar format. Now in my case, I have already downloaded the installer, so I'm not going to download it again, but make sure that you download the installer and save it on your machine anywhere you like. Now in case if you want to register to the website here on Red Hat, I have given one more link here. This is on my Google Drive. So you can click on this particular link and same installer I have put here on the drive. You can simply click on this download option here and you can continue to download it and save it on your machine wherever you want to. So we have the installer downloaded. Now we will begin with the installation. So let me go to the location where I downloaded the jar file. So I will go to my location here. I'll go to my downloads. Here I downloaded here in the Jboss installer. So this is the jar file which I downloaded from the links which I showed to you earlier. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type CMD here. It will open a command prompt for me. And here, if you will say dir, you can find that particular jar file. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that you need to have Java 8 installed. Let me verify that first. So I'll say Java-version. And you can see that I already have a Java 8 installed. So with Java 8 installed, let's begin with our installation of Jboss. Now, as you can see in this case that I have EAP 730, which is basically Enterprise Application Platform and the version 730. Now, in order to begin the installation, there is a very simple command. All you have to do is say java-jar, and you can either tab or type the whole name of the jar file. I have just pressed tab and it shows the jar file here. And once I do that, I'll hit enter here. So let's wait for a couple of seconds and a pop-up will come here, as you can see in front of you. Now you can choose your language. I'm choosing English here. I'll say OK, and the installation will begin. So let's give it a couple of seconds, and as you can see, this window comes up. Now on the left here, it shows you the progress of your installation. So you need to accept this agreement here, license agreement. I will say I accept it, and I will say next. Now here, this could be any directory of your choice. In my case, I'm going to put it in a location which I have chosen earlier. So either you can browse to that location here, or you can type the location. If that directory is not there, it will get created for you. So in my case, I'm going to install it in this particular location, which is C and C Java application Jboss, and in this directory here, which is EAP-730. Now I'll click next here. And as you can see on the left, it is showing you the progress. Again, you can click next here. You can leave the app client and dock selected. Now, this is your administrative user ID and password. This will help you to do all administrative related work in the Jboss. For that, you need a user ID and password. So I'm going to keep the user ID as admin, and password also I'll keep as admin, ADMIN. I'm typing up again, ADMIN. Now it is going to prompt you with this, that username and password cannot match. I will still continue it anyway, just to make sure that the ID and password is very simple. In this case, since it is for development purpose, I'll keep a very simple user ID and password. But in production environment, make sure that you have a password which is difficult to crack. So I will say, do you want to continue anyway? I will say okay. And then it will show you the path where the installation will happen, and the chosen installation packs and administrative username, which is admin in this particular case. So I can say next here, and the installation will begin. So this takes a couple of minutes maybe. So let's go through the process of installation and see each step. Now, while the installation is going on, you can see that it is putting your docs and modules and other things, which we will go through in future videos and understand them in more details. But for now, our focus is to get this installed. So as you can see, it was pretty quick. Now I can click on next here again. Now here is how to configure runtime environment. Now for the time being, we will leave or use perform default configuration. You could as well choose perform advanced configuration, but for that you need to be an advanced user of Jboss administrative capabilities. But for the time being, let's keep it default. We will revisit a lot of these things in later discussions of Jboss administration. So I will say next here again. So this also takes a couple of seconds depending upon the speed of your machine. So let's wait for a couple of seconds, and this step is also completed. Now I'm going to click next here. Now here, if you want to create a shortcut, you can keep it checked. In my case, I'm going to uncheck it, or you can leave it as is if you want to. And I'm going to choose all users options here, so that all the users who are using your machine can make use of it. And I will say next here again. So as you can see, the installation has completed successfully. And in this directory, and we will look at this directory in some time, that you also have an uninstaller, meaning that if you want to uninstall Jboss properly, you can go to this directory here and you can uninstall your Jboss. So for the time being, I'm going to say done here. Let me click done, and we are done with the Jboss Installation. So this is our directory where the Jboss has got installed. Now that our installation is done, let us try to start the server. So I went to this directory where I installed my Jboss. In this, I will go to bin and I'm going to open this in CMD. Now, if you will see here, there is a standalone.bat file. I'm going to use this to start the server. Now, we'll talk about a lot of this in subsequent discussions that we will have. But for now, let us just verify whether the installation is done successfully by starting the server and try to log in into the admin console. So what I'm going to do is I'll say it is standalone, STANDAL alone.bat. I'll type this in the bin directory and I'll hit enter here. So as you can see, the server is getting started. So that takes a couple of seconds. Let's wait for it. So this seems to be starting pretty quick. And yeah, so the server seems to be up and running. Here you can see that it is started in these many milliseconds. Now, what we are going to do is, as you can see here, the admin console is listing on this particular URL here with this port, as you can see. So I will copy this and I'm going to bring up a browser here. I will open this URL. Now this is the admin console. So I hope you remember that while doing the installation, I used admin as a user and password also as an admin. So I'll type admin and admin and then I will click sign in. So with this, you can see that I can successfully access the admin console of Jboss. That means the setup is done successfully. That's all in this video. Thank you so much for your time.